So I want to propose a question into other bending forms. Because we understand that Toph is an absolute prodigy at earthbending, where she was able to discover the minerals inside of metal in order to metal bend. And that's like a deeper, more complex version of earthbending. And that makes me think, could someone that's a prodigy at waterbending, can they make almost any form of liquid into H2O, like drinkable water? Like for instance, if they're out in the ocean surrounded by salt water, can they just purify it into fresh water by removing a significant amount of salt and dirt content? Because it's manipulating minerals just like how Toph did when she invented metal bending. Because someone that was self-taught like Hama was able to pull water out of thin air and then transform them into ice shards, it makes you consider what other elements can do. And people tend to overlook this Fire Lord Sozin feat that he did during Roku's flashback, because he does something very interesting. It makes you wonder, can all firebenders extract heat to a certain degree off of anything? Just like he did with this lava in order to make it dry up? Just some questions I think about.
Draw wisdom from many different places. If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stable.
It makes me wonder how far bending can actually go depending on who you study from. Zuko, in his fight against Azula, he took a very waterbending like stance mixed with his breathing technique from his firebending. Because it makes me wonder, who did Fire Lord Sozin study under to be able to do something this amazing? Because in all honesty, we don't see anyone else do this sort of bending throughout the rest of the series. It seems very different and unique from the regular firebending positions, kind of like the form for redirecting lightning. And we do understand how powerful waterbenders are, because any substance on Earth that has a slight bit of fluidity behind it, a waterbender can manipulate it to a certain degree. Just like how earthbenders can manipulate anything that have traces or minerals similar to earth or dirt, which is why Toph was able to manipulate the space rock, because it probably had the same minerals as earth or similar. But it's very clear that training under or with the other element made Team Avatar as strong as they was. As we do know from Toph, she is able to feel the vibrations through the earth, which helps her have a deeper connection with earthbending over every other earthbender that we notice throughout the series. And we do understand that Aang and Toph have trained together, and on multiple occasions, Aang has proven that he is able to use the seismic sense, being able to feel the vibrations of the earth. And also in Avatar, we do have a full understanding that if a bender studies or incorporates a whole other bending form mixed together with theirs, there's a high possibility that they are able to create a new form of bending. And it makes me wonder if a master airbender such as Aang would be able to incorporate that with his natural airbending skills, essentially being able to feel the vibrations in the air, aka sound waves. And knowing that's not too far off, when you really think about it, the air nomad door was the only door in Avatar that made noise in order to open it. For all we know, there could be an airbender somewhere that studied the earthbenders to be a sound bender, which is insane. For how amazing Combustion Man's bending style is, the moment that we looked at it in slow motion, we could tell that it is a very precision attack, because it's a focused, streamlined beam that detonates at a particular point and not on contact. Because at one point I thought it was similar to like a beam where it goes and once it makes contact, it explodes. But no, actually it's a detonation instead of like actual contact. Because we see it pause here before exploding. And it's very clear that he trained very hard to do that with his firebending. So it makes you wonder if it's possible to do it with other elements. Like for instance, if Aang threw a ball of air and right before the point of contact it explodes into sharp winds. Because we do understand that airbenders can create these wind tunnels or vacuums with their palms. Or let's say a waterbender like Katara, she probably able to do something like that similar but with ice shards. Or with blood bending, make shards out of blood while inside your vein. But something like this doesn't seem impossible for Aang to master, especially when he invented the air scooter, which is compressed air that he rides around on, which that's amazing all in itself. As to more of how far bending can actually go, a lot of people tend to overlook the sandbenders, which in all honesty makes you think they probably were earthbenders that studied from air nomads. Because sand is so loose by nature, they had to adapt in accordance to match this fluidity. Maybe it's from studying airbenders or studying waterbenders, but they're not traditional earthbenders. And we do understand that it's canon that Toph do master sandbending, which is very clear that she had practice along with training with Aang and Katara. Now I'm pretty sure she also incorporated with her earthbending. And on top of that, in her older age, she was able to master mudbending. And as you see in her movements when she mudbends, it's very waterbender-like, which really makes you think maybe it's because she studied and worked with Katara multiple times, and she just naturally got accustomed to mudbending. And don't forget, she used to say that she used to fight swamp benders in her free time, so I'm pretty sure that's how she picked it up.
Yeah, the swamp benders out here really can't take a punch.
It's very interesting that sand, mud, and metal all fall under the category of earthbending, What I don't understand about how far bending can go is that they literally gave up on the flame blade, where they focused their firebending to a sharp point like a little mini flamethrower, and basically in blade form. Which that makes me think, could they make like a sword that's similar to like Kuwabara's, and it be made completely out of fire, similar to that? But more importantly, what about warbenders? They should be able to make a blade that's so sharp that it literally can cut through anything similar to metal. Because we gotta remember that Katara was able to bend the spirit water like that before applying it to Aang in order to heal him. Who's to say she can't spin water even faster or to have that much strength and pressure? And they have shown us that waterbenders are able to manipulate waters in absolutely tremendous ways, whether it's smoke, ice, even blood. So them being able to make a high power pressure washer isn't too far out of reach, especially if they had enough water. And to be honest, according to Avatar logic, they can never run out of water as long as they're surrounded by air. I just feel like that was a bending form that really went to waste. I think it's safe to say that we all understand that Toph is the reason that guns aren't a thing in Avatar, right? Simply because she would be able to tell that somebody is behind her with a gun. And not only that, it is confirmed that she is able to tell where the earth is while it's in the air. Like, in all honesty, if somebody were to try to get her, she would basically be trying to flex on them as if she's a Super Saiyan. Because she would be able to see that metal before it's even fired out of the gun. And one thing I want to look over is the fact that Aang was able to cover his entire body in gemstone when he went against Azula. And it makes me wonder why we don't see gemstone more often. And I feel like that opens up the concept for if diamond bending is possible. Because in their world, I'm pretty sure diamond is the hardest thing ever. And being able to bend that and then make it into your own personal armor would be so interesting. And I do understand in the show that they do say that they can't bend certain things, but at the same time, they are able to bend most things. So, in all honesty, that opens up the door for more possibilities when you really think about it. I don't think it needs to be pointed out that the most unique forms of bending usually comes from people that usually takes morality out of bending as a whole, aka people that are assassins like Sparky Billman, or people like Hama who is prisoners of war and their back was against the wall, or in her words to be specific,
You've got to keep an open mind, Katara.
because people like that don't consider morality whatsoever, whether it's a character being a hunter or whether it's a character that's being hunted and their back is against the wall and they have no other choice. They will open their mind to a completely different level in regards to bending and how to perfect it in a completely unique way where it is hard to defend against. Because if y'all haven't noticed, that Hama episode, it literally showed all the what ifs that everyone could possibly think of in regards to waterbending. While Combustion Man still have us curious on the different ways that firebending can be used instead of the traditional sense. And I promise you that is something I definitely going to get more into. So earlier I speculated that if a character has less morality, they are more open to unique forms of bending. And I gave such examples as Hama, who had to learn her form of waterbending through survival because she was a prisoner of war. And also Combustion Man, who used his unique form to hunt people, which probably made him open to his unique style of firebending. We could also use someone like Sahir in a sense, where he was able to unlock his unique style of airbending for having less morality and no attachments to the world. And also, for instance, Gyatso, who was in a similar situation as Hama, where their back was against the wall, so where they was able to use a unique style of bending that we have never seen before. And there is speculation that Gyatso took down all the firebenders that are surrounding his body with a possible forbidden airbending technique where it causes a similar vacuum or black hole effect and take all the oxygen out of the room. The art of bending is spiritual in itself, and there's proof that morality tends to be a handicap. And not only a unique style of bending usually occurs when a character has less morality, because there are more characters that were like Hama and Monk Gyatso who simply use a unique style of bending in order to just survive, and they're back against the wall. Because I can't forget Toph, who discovered metal bending with her back against the wall, desperately needing to get out by any means necessary, just like Hama when she was a prisoner of war.
Woo!
And also characters like Bolin, whose back was also against the wall and discovered a unique style of bending such as lava bending. The less likely someone is focused on morality in a sense, literally opens up their mind to the possibilities of how unique bending can truly be. Because spirits in Avatar don't care about mortals, or what's right and wrong in accordance to mortal standards, which is why more unique styles of bending occur with more people that lack morality, or in a particular state.
Hello, Zuko here.
And if you like that video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And also let me know what you think the next video should be based off of. Because like I say at the end of all my videos, I read every comment and I make sure that y'all are heard. Because I'm trying to get to 50K by the end of the year, I would love to have your support and hear more about your ideas. I hope you're able to apply these words in your everyday life. And Lily, thanks for watching. Oh, and a reminder, drink water.
Perfection and power are overrated. I think you are very wise to choose happiness and love